Hey guys, Jordan Stoffer here with Rounding Third Baseball Performance. Today's segment we're talking about anterior core anatomy and why it's vital to the swing, but also why it's a little more even vital to how we're loading and how we're managing our timing mechanism as a hitter. Quick anatomy on the anterior core. We have your rectus abdominis, your 6-pack, 8-pack, the sweet ones, whatever you want to call them, the ones you see in magazines. That's kind of the predominant ones. Then the rest of our anterior core muscles actually work at more of an angle, and same with the posterior core anatomy as well, but I'll stay on topic here with these ones. You have your internal and external obliques that both striate in opposite directions from each other on each side, and so doing our loading actions is actually helping to prime those tissues. You have your transverse abdominis, which kind of sits here and kind of floats right under the rib cage on a fascial attachment. And then you have your serratus anterior and some other supporting rolls that come through here in front of the lats. Knowing that anatomy and understanding that what angles they take and how they move and what their primary action is, let's think about how it applies to the load, okay? So first of all, we want to remove slack during our load. We want to make sure there's like a pre-tension, okay? So if I think about what a basketball player is doing to go get a rebound, he or she is not only going down or squatting down before jumping, they're actually pulling their arms up a little bit before jumping, okay? If you've ever seen Olympic jumpers, they actually kind of get tense overhead before going down into the jump. Or Olympic weightlifters, before they deadlift, will actually create some tension over the top or even out front to try to activate the right tissue for them to get up with force. So as a baseball player, we're actually trying to kind of prime this tissue, and some guys do it through like a barrel tilting action. Some guys do it through like actually kind of pre-tensing or pre-coiling the upper body to get that action to happen, okay? So if you watch me kind of where I'm starting my swing here, you'll see kind of a little bit of wrinkling in my shirt. That feels good to me. That's a place where I feel like I'm ready to swing. Whereas some guys will start pretty loose and they'll start doing some bigger moves or bigger stretchy moves as they get going to start removing that tension or removing that slack out of the muscles, okay? When we think about slack, we think about muscles that aren't really ready to do anything, okay? So we want to make sure there's some tension in those tissues before we get going. That'll really help us gain some control during our load, which is huge in terms of expanding our timeline and making sure that we still have potential energy that whole time prior to the swing, okay? If we do a good job removing slack, creating tension during this coiling phase or even the stride phase as I get to this launch position, we're going to have this huge unraveling or this really explosive unraveling of rotation during the actual swing phase, okay? So if we do a really good job priming this anterior core, and you're also priming your posterior chain, but I'm just talking about what we're doing up here in the front because that is probably our main driver of good spinal posture relative from rib cage to hips. We want to do a really good job with it, and it's going to really prime our speedy rotation, okay? So understanding this anatomy and how we kind of potentiate some speed is a big deal. So if you have questions, visit rounding3.com and email me. Love to talk about it. Thanks for watching.